The planet Valoria had always been different. Its surface burned with the color of ochre deserts and glimmered with oceans of deep indigo. Towering cities rose from the jagged plains, monuments to a civilization that had survived countless invasions, environmental collapse, and cosmic disasters. Across the galaxy, whispers circulated of Valoria, a planet that refused to bow to any conqueror, that would not kneel. High in orbit, the alien armada hovered like a shadow over the planet's surface, weapons charged, their fleet gleaming with the cold efficiency of conquest. The invaders had assumed victory was inevitable. They had counted on fear, division, and superior firepower to subdue the world below. Commander Leora Vera, standing on the bridge of the planetary defense flagship Aegis, gazed out at the approaching alien armada. Her eyes, sharp and unwavering, reflected both the brilliance of Valoria's cities and the looming threat above. "They think we will kneel," she said softly. "They have never faced a planet that fights not just with weapons, but with will, memory, and unity." Lieutenant Kale Duran monitored incoming transmissions. "Commander, they're attempting psychological warfare. Messages, threats, promises of annihilation. But the population. They are not responding with fear. They're preparing, coordinating, ready to resist." Leora nodded, hand resting on the hollow interface displaying Valoria's planetary defenses. "Good. Fear is their weapon. But we are not afraid. Every citizen, every soldier, every ship above and below the surface is ready to remind the galaxy that Valoria bows to no one. They will learn what it means to face a world that refuses to kneel." On the surface, massive energy turrets and anti-orbital cannons activated, their beams slicing the skies. Fighters launched from hidden bases, weaving through asteroid belts and planetary rings, striking at alien scouts with surgical precision. Civilian engineers and soldiers worked as one, blending ancient knowledge with cutting-edge technology. Every movement was deliberate, every strike preemptive, every defense calibrated. The alien struck first, assuming surprise would grant them victory. Massive bombardments lit the atmosphere, tearing through mountain ranges and city spires. Yet every attack was anticipated, deflected, or neutralized. Valoria's defenses were not just mechanical, they were tactical, adaptive, and guided by generations of survival instincts encoded into every system and every soldier. Leora addressed her crew and the planetary command network. "They will learn today that Valoria does not kneel. Not to force. Not to fear. We endure. We fight. And we will survive." Above, alien warships faltered, their calculations disrupted by the planet's coordinated resistance. Every strike they attempted was countered. Every move anticipated. Valoria was not merely defending itself, it was orchestrating a symphony of strategy, resilience, and indomitable will. As the first volleys of the battle faded, the galaxy witnessed a world that refused to surrender, a civilization that would not yield. Valoria's fires burned not just in its cities, but in the hearts of every inhabitant, a declaration that some planets cannot be broken, cannot be subdued, and will always rise to meet any challenge. The alien armada intensified its assault. Massive warships descended into Valoria's orbit, launching bombardments meant to obliterate cities, supply lines, and military installations. The surface shook under the relentless pressure. Volcanic ridges glowing with the impact of plasma strikes. Yet the people of Valoria did not falter. Commander Leora Vera stood at the command bridge of the Aegis, her gaze fixed on the tactical hologram of the planet. Red dots representing enemy ships advanced in formation, while blue indicators of Valoria's defenses pulsed with energy. "They think terror will break us," she said firmly. "They do not understand that we are not just defending ground, we are defending a legacy. Every city, every life, every generation that came before us stands in unison. Activate countermeasures. Launch the Valkyrie fighters." Lieutenant Kale Duran tapped rapidly at his console. "Counterorbital systems online. Anti-warhead interceptors deployed. Their flagship is maneuvering for a frontal strike, but Our fighters are already in position. We can intercept before they reach the lower atmosphere. From hidden orbital stations and fortified hangars, Valkyrie fighters launched in synchronized swarms, weaving through plasma trails and debris fields. Every pilot moved with uncanny precision, their maneuvers guided by AI-assisted targeting systems and centuries of defensive doctrine. Alien escorts were struck in rapid succession, their formations collapsing as human ingenuity outpaced brute force. On the planet's surface, energy turrets fired with unerring accuracy. They targeted propulsion systems of descending assault pods, shattered command ships, and disabled alien sensors. Civilian engineers and militia worked side by side, repairing damaged defenses in real time, improvising traps, and coordinating strikes through encrypted planetary networks. Valoria's resistance was not chaotic, it was a symphony of calculated chaos, every note orchestrated to break the invaders' confidence. Leora activated the Planetary Core Defense Array, a system designed to disable and disrupt enemy warships without destroying the planet itself. Massive beams of concentrated energy cut through alien cruisers' shields, sending fragments spinning into orbit. Enemy admirals realized with horror that their superior numbers meant little when the planet itself fought back with intelligence, adaptability, and relentless determination. Kale's voice was tense but awed. "Commander. They're falling back. Entire squadrons are retreating. The planetary defenses. They've underestimated us. They didn't expect this level of coordination." Leora's eyes burned with resolve. "Good. Let them retreat. We will not merely survive this assault, we will force them to remember Valoria as the planet that does not kneel. Every ship they lose today, every foothold they fail to take, will remind them that no conqueror can claim this world while its people stand united." As alien ships regrouped, the planet's inhabitants prepared for the next wave, their spirits unbroken, their strategies evolving. Valoria had transformed from a target into a fortress of ingenuity and courage. Across the galaxy, whispers began to spread, not of a defeated world, but of a planet that refused to yield, a civilization that could turn any invasion into a lesson in resilience. The battle for Valoria was far from over, but one truth had already become clear: this planet would not kneel, and the storm it had become was only growing stronger. The skies above Valoria burned with fire and energy, a storm of destruction and resistance colliding in a deadly dance. Alien warships descended in wave after wave, unleashing torrents of plasma and kinetic bombardments meant to obliterate the planet's cities. Yet Valoria responded not with panic, but with calculated fury. Every turret, interceptor, and fighter was coordinated through the planetary neural network, a web of strategy honed through centuries of defense. Commander Leora Vera stood on the bridge of the Aegis, fingers tracing the holographic display of the approaching armadas. "They've committed their flagship and elite squadrons," she said. "If we fail here, all of Valoria could be at risk. But they underestimate us, our will, our ingenuity, and our unity. Activate Phase 3. Valkyrie fighters and orbital turrets, strike with surgical precision." Lieutenant Kale Duran's voice crackled through the comms. "Commander. They've formed a pincer around Sector 14. Their intent is to crush our orbital defenses and force a planetary surrender." Leora's gaze hardened. "Good. Let them come. They will find every move anticipated, every weakness countered. This planet does not kneel." From hidden orbital hangars, Valkyrie squadrons surged like a living tide, weaving through asteroid debris and plasma storms. Their targeting systems, enhanced with predictive AI, struck at the most vulnerable points of enemy cruisers, crippling engines and communications. Massive planetary turrets fired in perfect coordination, blasting through descending assault pods and forcing alien ships to retreat or scatter. On the surface, fortified cities became bastions of resistance. Engineers rerouted energy from damaged sectors to power emergency shields. Militia units and elite soldiers intercepted paratroopers and assault units with precision. Every attack was met with a counterattack, every breach anticipated before it could widen. The alien commander's frustration grew palpable. How can a single planet coordinate so perfectly? One bellowed. Their numbers are inferior. Yet we are faltering. Kale whispered in awe, Commander. Their formations are collapsing. Entire waves are being repelled before they even touch the surface. Valoria. It's unstoppable. Leora's eyes reflected the glow of burning cities and orbital explosions. This is what it means to defend a world that refuses to kneel. Not through luck, but through foresight, strategy, and the unbreakable will of every citizen. Valoria is alive. Valoria is a storm. And they will remember it. Phase 3 culminated in a coordinated strike against the alien flagship. Orbital cannons and Valkyrie squadrons converged in perfect unison. Shields faltered under precise energy volleys, engines failed, and communications went dark. Alien forces, leaderless and demoralized, began to retreat from Valoria's orbit. The planet had proven that it could withstand not just force, but calculated oppression, that it could turn invasion into a lesson in resilience. Across the globe, citizens cheered, energy lighting up the night skies as a testament to survival. Unity and defiance, Leora addressed the planetary network. Today, we have shown that Valoria does not bow. We are the guardians of this world, the inheritors of its legacy, and the storm that any invader will regret facing. Remember this victory. Today, we have made history. The stars above shimmered faintly, silent witnesses to a planet that refused to kneel, a civilization that would not yield, a people whose courage and strategy had forged a new legend across the galaxy. The void above Valoria burned like molten metal. Alien warships, battered but unbroken, surged forward in a desperate final assault. Their flagship, scarred from previous engagements, led the charge, intent on crushing the planet's defenses and breaking the will of its people. But Valoria was ready. The planet's orbital grid hummed with coordinated energy, and every turret, interceptor, and fighter was in position, a living network of strategy and resolve. Commander Leora Vera stood on the bridge of the Aegis, her silhouette framed by the shimmering holographic displays of incoming enemy fleets. "They are throwing everything at us," she said, voice calm but edged with authority. "Do not falter. Every system, every citizen, every soldier is part of this defense. They will learn what it means to face a planet that does not kneel." Lieutenant Kale Duran's hands moved rapidly over the console. "Commander. They've concentrated their fire on Sector 7. If they breach the orbital shield there, ground forces could be in jeopardy." Leora's eyes narrowed. "Let them try. Divert auxiliary energy to reinforce the shields. Valkyrie squadrons, engage in coordinated flanking maneuvers. Fire everything that can strike without destroying our cities. Valoria does not fear destruction, it fears nothing but submission." From hidden orbital hangars, Valkyrie fighters launched in synchronized swarms, weaving through plasma storms and debris fields. Each pilot moved with unparalleled precision, striking at enemy weak points before the alien commanders could adjust. Planetary turrets fired volleys that pierced the thickest shields, forcing enemy warships to retreat or scatter. On the surface, civilian engineers and soldiers worked side by side, rerouting energy, repairing defenses, and coordinating counterattacks. Every assault wave was met with a precise response, every attempt to breach was anticipated. Valoria's defense was not chaotic, it was a symphony of strategy, ingenuity, and collective will. Alien commanders watched in disbelief as their forces faltered despite superior numbers. How? How is a single planet resisting like this? One cried. Every strike is countered, every move anticipated. We are losing cohesion. Kale whispered, awestruck, "Commander. They're collapsing. Entire squadrons are retreating. Their flagship is damaged. Valoria. It's unstoppable." Leora's gaze reflected the burning skies and the glow of orbital energy fields. This is what it means to defend a world that refuses to kneel. Not with luck, but with foresight, strategy, and the indomitable will of every life that calls Valoria home. Today, we turn their desperation into their defeat. In a coordinated final strike, orbital cannons and Valkyrie fighters converged on the alien flagship. Shields flickered and collapsed under precise energy volleys, propulsion systems failed, communications went dark. With their command crippled and morale shattered, alien forces began a full retreat from Valoria's orbit. Across the planet, citizens watched as the sky cleared of enemy warships. Their cheers echoing across mountains, deserts, and cities. Valoria had survived, and it had done so not by submission, but by unity, ingenuity, and the refusal to bow. Leora addressed the planetary network, her voice resolute and proud. Today, the galaxy has witnessed the strength of a planet that refuses to kneel. Every life, every effort, every sacrifice has mattered. Valoria stands unbroken. Let this be a warning to any who would underestimate the courage and will of a civilization determined to survive. The stars above shimmered, silent witnesses to a world that had turned invasion into legend, a planet that had become a symbol of resilience, and a people whose legacy would echo across the galaxy for generations to come. The alien armada had vanished from Valoria's skies, retreating in disarray. Their flagship, crippled and leaderless, limped back through the void, leaving behind a planet that refused to bow. Across the surface, citizens poured into streets, deserts, and plains, their voices rising in unison, a chorus of triumph and relief. Valoria had survived, and it had done so not through surrender, but through unity, strategy, and unwavering courage. Commander Leora Vera stood on the bridge of the Aegis, the stars reflected in her determined eyes. Around her, crew members worked tirelessly to secure orbital defenses, repair damaged systems, and coordinate communications with cities across the planet. Ghostly holograms of Valoria's ancestors shimmered faintly on the bridge, guiding their descendants and lending centuries of accumulated wisdom. Lieutenant Kale Duran, exhausted but exhilarated, spoke over the comms. "Commander. The retreating forces have no plan. They are broken, scattered, and demoralized. Valoria's independence is secure." Leora nodded, voice steady. "Not just secure. Valoria has proven that no invader can force it to kneel. Every citizen, every soldier, every engineer and fighter contributed to this victory. We are more than a planet, we are a legacy, a storm of defiance that will echo across the galaxy." On the surface, energy flares from repaired turrets lit the night sky. Citizens celebrated alongside militia units, engineers, and pilots, their unity forged in the crucible of war. Schools, civic centers, and defensive outposts had all played a role, demonstrating that the spirit of a world resided in its people as much as in its technology. Leora activated the planetary comm network, her voice broadcasting across Valoria. "People of Valoria, hear me. Today, we have shown the galaxy that this planet does not kneel. Our enemies sought to break us with fear and fire, yet we endured, we fought, and we triumphed. Remember this moment. Remember the courage, ingenuity, and unity that saved our world. Let it be a lesson, Valoria will always rise, and its spirit cannot be conquered." The alien retreat became a story whispered across nearby star systems. Legend spread of a planet that turned invasion into legend, of a civilization that transformed desperation into triumph, of a world whose inhabitants fought not only for survival, but for the enduring right to stand tall. Leora gazed out across the horizon from her command post, where the first rays of Valoria's twin suns touched the jagged mountains and shimmering oceans. "We carry the legacy of every generation that refused to kneel," she murmured. "Valoria is alive, resilient, and eternal. And any who would challenge us will know the fury of a planet that refuses submission." Across the galaxy, stars shimmered as silent witnesses to the triumph of a world that would not bow. Valoria's legacy was no longer whispered, it was written in fire, strategy, and courage. The planet had endured, its people had prevailed, and the galaxy had learned an unshakable truth: some worlds, and the civilizations within them, cannot be conquered, cannot be broken, and will never kneel. The void above Valoria had fallen silent. Alien warships that had once darkened the skies were now little more than scattered silhouettes, retreating into the depths of space. The planet itself, scorched but unbroken, radiated a quiet strength, a testament to the courage, ingenuity, and unity of every life that called it home. Commander Leora Vera stood at the forefront on the bridge of the Aegis. Her eyes reflecting both the brilliance of Valoria's twin suns and the scattered remnants of the defeated armada. Around her, holographic projections displayed the repaired orbital grid, thriving cities, and the coordinated efforts of civilians, engineers, and soldiers who had defended their world with unmatched precision. Lieutenant Kale Duran approached, voice filled with relief and awe. "Commander. The alien fleet is in full retreat. Their leadership fractured. Their forces broken. Valoria. It's safe." Leora's gaze was steady, resolute. "Safe, yes, but more importantly, free. They thought they could force submission with fear, fire, and overwhelming numbers. They were wrong. We do not bow. We do not kneel. Valoria endures because its people refuse to surrender, because we act with intelligence, unity, and purpose. This planet is alive, and we are its guardians." On the surface, citizens emerged from shelters, bases, and bunkers. They lit the skies with celebration, fires, lights, and cheers signaling victory. Engineers worked alongside military units to stabilize power grids, repair defenses, and restore communications. Every action, every gesture, reflected the unbroken spirit of a planet that had survived against impossible odds. Leora activated the planetary communications network, her voice resonating across Valoria. "People of Valoria, the galaxy has witnessed what it means to face a world that refuses to kneel. Today, we have not only survived, but we have triumphed. Remember this day, remember the courage, ingenuity, and unity that saved us all. Let our enemies know, Valoria will never be conquered, and our spirit cannot be broken." The alien fleet's retreat became a story that echoed through nearby star systems. Legend spread of a planet that turned invasion into triumph, of a civilization that transformed desperation into strategy, and of a world whose inhabitants would rather fight than bow. Leora gazed at the horizon where the twin suns rose over jagged mountains and shimmering oceans. "We carry the legacy of every generation that refused submission," she whispered. "Valoria endures. Resilient and eternal. Any who would challenge us will face the fury of a planet that cannot kneel." The stars above shimmered as silent witnesses to Valoria's victory. The planet, its people, and its spirit had survived, had prevailed, and had carved their legacy into the galaxy. Valoria would not kneel, and the story of its resilience would echo forever.